Hi, we're Conan and Catherine, and when we're not renovating vintage campers, we're putting photo booths inside of vintage campers. This spring you've watched us remodel a 1968 Playmore Model 140 on our channel, taking it all apart and putting it back together again. And now it's a camper again? You gotta be kidding me. But our vintage camper journey actually begins 7 years ago when we bought a 1967 Conestoga, ripped it apart, and turned it into a traveling photo studio. Since then, we've added a second camper photo booth to our fleet, the little Lampy camper, and we've been rolling around Wichita, Kansas, taking photos ever since. Turning trailer trash into treasure has always been our passion, and we're happy to share it with you and so many others through our business and our channel. If you're new here, please like and subscribe, and thanks for following along. Always take mosquito coils with you. Mosquito repellent. Unless you live somewhere where there's no mosquitoes. Please tell me where that is, because I'd like to move there. Why is it on there? There we go. Let's try that again. So, I know you're usually here for our videos about renovating our 1968 Playmore, and this is not a 1968 Playmore. This is the little Lampy camper. It's a 1961 Aljo, and this is what we use to make the money that allows us to renovate the Playmore. We actually own a photo booth company here in Wichita, Kansas called Lamphouse Photo Co, and we take photo booths to weddings, at birthday parties, and corporate events, and everything else. But today actually marks 7 years that we've been doing this. We thought it'd be fun to take a little tour of the little Lampy camper and show you some of the ins and outs of running a photo booth company out of a little old vintage camper. And if you stick through all the way to the end of this video, we're going to have a fun little giveaway to celebrate. First of all, little details. It's about 15 feet long, it's 7 feet wide, and it's about 9 feet tall. We towed it home with our Grand Wagoneer from Russell, Kansas. We completely stripped out all of the wood on the interior and replaced it with new. So the only things, just like in the camper we've been remodeling in these videos, the only thing that's still original on this, sheet metal, windows, and the frame itself. So one question we always get asked by anyone that's considered doing a photo booth in a vintage camper is, what is it like to actually plan events with this? What do you need to know? What do you need to think about? Well, it turns out there's actually quite a lot that goes into it. You know, how we're going to get to the venue, if there's any like dirt roads we're going to have to go down because that's going to kick up a lot of dust and dirt onto it. Is there enough room for it? That was part of the reason why we started looking for this smaller camper, was so that we could fit in more venues. So that's really an important thing to consider when you're buying one of these. Where are you going to take it? How are you going to use it? Okay, so we asked on Instagram for some questions about the camper or running a photo booth in a vintage camper, and we got a few. So real quick, did taking the original cabinets out change the way it drives? It really didn't make much of a difference to the camper that I can tell. You know, it really didn't change the weight, and it tows fine, so I would say no. Where do you store it? Fortunately, we're lucky enough to be able to store it at our house, but if you're looking to store your own camper, you should check with your local city or municipality and see what their rules are regarding storing campers. Someone asked how many people fit inside. I couldn't say for sure. I think we've had between 10 and 15 in there at a time. I really don't recommend it. It works best for about 6 at a max. Do you need special tires, and how many have you replaced? No, not really, but we do run on some little automotive tires because it's really difficult unless you get reproduction, sort of original trailer tires, to find ones that will actually still allow you to fit the wheel up into the wheel well. So we tow on little tiny car tires, and I've never had a problem with them, never had to replace one, but we do carry a spare with us wherever we go. We had another question that asked, is it hard to maintain? Honestly, not really. You know, it's basically just a box on wheels, so all we do is keep it covered and wipe it down before we go to an event, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, can't really think of any major maintenance we've really ever had to do with it. What is the most used prop? I would have to say it's a tie between dinosaur hand puppet and ice cream cone. Yeah, those are probably the 2 most popular ones. What was our worst fear with the booth? And you know, at this point I don't know that I have a worst fear, but of the things that could happen, probably a flat tire or mechanical breakdown on our tow vehicle would be my worst fear. Next worst fear would be it rains, maybe. Another person asked, what's the hardest thing about having a vintage camper photo booth? Hardest thing's probably getting it into a location. You know, it's bigger than a regular photo booth, so sometimes you got to get creative with where you're going to park it and where you're going to operate it. And of course, the other question that goes with that is, what's the best thing about operating a vintage camper photo booth? And I suppose in that case it would be just how much joy it brings to people when they see a vintage camper being used for something else. You know, people just love to look at these things, and they love to share stories about you know, campers that they've had in their lives. So that's probably the best thing. Yeah, okay, so we're going to get to our giveaway, and just want to say thanks for all of you that have followed along, and thanks for those who have supported our business for these last 7 years, and we hope to be around for another 7. We're giving away 1 free 3-hour photo booth rental for 2021. It can be the camper, it can be our indoor birdie booth, or the social booth, whatever's going to fit your event. Birthday, Christmas party, you know, corporate party, wedding, whatever it is. To win that, you need to 1, like this video, 2, subscribe to our channel, 3, follow us on Instagram, and 4, leave a comment below and let us know which booth you'd like and what you'd like to use it for. And even if you don't want to enter the contest, make sure and like and subscribe. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe.